Welcome back to Well, That's Interesting. The when you buy a product and it makes things worse edition.
Yeah. What a reality.
Yeah.
Wow.
I am Jill Chacha, and I am with the does not make things worse at all. My co-host, Marissa Riley.
Thank you. And, you know, that's not entirely true. I do make some things worse. I am a human.
No, you're
yeah.
amazing. And so today's episode, we're going to talk about products and their...
I love products.
Yeah, and their effects on us. Anything come to mind over the years of being a human buying products? Just something fail you or just disappoint you or anything?
Most of them. I would say like 90% of my Amazon purchases were mistakes and either broke or didn't do what they said they would do.
Yeah.
And same for beauty products.
Yeah.
900% lies.
Yeah.
The scrub will not solve your problems. It'll just make tiny tears in your skin.
Tiny injuries.
That are impossible
Yeah.
to reverse.
Thousands of tiny injuries.
Thousands of tiny cuts on your face. Google it. You'll never scrub your face again.
Yeah.
There are other ways to exfoliate. Okay, anyways. But
Yeah.
point being, Amazon and beauty products, two of my favorite things in the world, actually, unfortunately, are not my favorite things. Let's rephrase that. Two of my addictions
there you
are
go.
buying beauty products and buying things on Amazon without thinking about it hard enough.
Right. Okay. So just years of disappointment.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say all of the years. Every year I have been alive has been a disappointing year for products.
Well, we're going to talk about a couple of things today. Luckily, none of them killed you, which is great.
Yeah, that's a good point. As soon as you said that, I had to think for a second. I was like, did anything kill me? And then I was like, wow, I'm tired.
Just thousands of tiny injuries, which I guess after listening to this episode, how have we all survived over the years? Episode 029, Bonkers, product recalls. This is our top 3.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have fun today. Now, let's do a quick rundown of what a recall is and how it works. Okay. So a recall is, quote, a request to return, exchange, or replace a product after a manufacturer or a consumer watchdog group discovers defects that could hinder performance, harm consumers, or produce legal issues for the producers, end quote. And that's from asq.org. And depending in which country you live, and quite honestly, what year you live in too, consumer protections vary, as does the watchdog group. So, like, for example, in the United States, we have the Consumer Product Safety Commission, or the CPSC.
Got it.
Right? And they have the small responsibility of, quote, protecting the public from unreasonable risks of injury or death associated with the use of thousands of types of consumer products, end quote.
Got it. So this is, these are the people, I'm guessing, who stopped me from having more Four Loko blackouts than I needed.
That's them.
I only had a couple.
Okay.
But I could have had a lot more, and
they got your back.
They got my back.
They did. They got your back. Four Loko, man. So,
take away just don't take away my wine. I'm not blacking out on it.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up to wine. Thumbs down to Four Loko. Yeah.
I mean, this is our podcast. We just rated Four Loko, okay? So that last quote is from the CPSC website, cpsc.gov. So these unreasonable injuries and unreasonable deaths cost more than $1 trillion with a T annually. And when we get into our wacky top 3 recalls, you'll see why. Now, that fact was kind of shocking, but honestly, what I'm about to say is shocking, but also not so shocking. Anyway, the CPSC and decent consumer protection laws have only been around in the United States for, take a guess.
I saw the number.
God damn it! Stop reading ahead.
I'm sorry. We have it positioned in a way where I can kind of like read along.
Yeah.
Like the way you're like,
yes,
your parent would be reading a book and you'd be curled up reading along with them. I'm guessing it would be, my guess is 48.
That is exactly correct. Exactly correct.
How did I do it?
At the time of this recording, 48 years. That's it. The Consumer Product Safety Commission was formed in 1972, and I'm pretty sure there were products before then.
Oh, yes.
So, the agency was created with the passing of the Consumer Product Safety Act, when it was finally realized we may need to develop safety standards and hold corporations accountable, maybe a little bit. Now, would you like to read some of what the act included for the first time?
I would love to. All right. Quote, safety standards for such products as bicycle helmets and cigarette lighters, a ban on lead in paint, and a rule concerning size requirements for toys that could be choking hazardous for young children, end quote. And that was from the wiki for the Consumer Product Safety Act.
There you go.
I'm glad we are worried about lighters.
Yes.
Or I'm glad they started with helmets. That's a great place to start. And then the next thing was lighters.
Yes. Your brain and your skin.
There you go. Your brain, your skin. Your babies aren't choking on fucking shit anymore. Things must have been so much nicer.
Beautiful. So now not only is that time frame a little mind-boggling, this was also signed into law by Nixon.
Interesting.
Which kind of breaks my heart, because if this were on the Senate floor today, I guarantee would not pass.
You're unfortunately right.
Yeah,
that is very depressing.
Yeah, this country's a little... little far right. So here's a good example of that. It wasn't until 2008 that the law was amended to, quote, protect whistleblowers who take certain actions to raise concerns about consumer product safety, and, quote, require manufacturers and importers of all children's products to have batches of their products tested by an independent certified laboratory, end quote.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And that was from the same wiki, from the Consumer Product Safety Act. That wasn't until 2008 where children's toys tested.
So that means both you and I, not to reveal our ages or anything, but we were children before 2008.
Yes.
So our toys were not
chock full of shit.
tested.
Probably.
So we're just full of lead right now. We were just eating lead as kids. It's just every time I licked my Barbies, because that's what you do.
Yeah. We're both very gay, so
I got lead poisoning.
Childhood. Again, how are we alive? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Now, if you think all these laws go too far, please just listen to our last in-betweenie on how easy it is to get lead poisoning, which you just brought up, and listen to our top 3 products that you definitely don't want in your house. So, shall we start?
We shall.
Okay. Coming in at number 3 is a tiny can that made big promises. Now, back in the wacky 90s, specifically February 96 through September 99.
That's so specific.
That's right. You're damn right. So a particular 16-ounce aerosol can was sold nationwide, available via something called the Home Shopping Network.
Oh, good times.
Yeah, so I know you were a teeny tiny baby those years.
But I knew about it.
Yeah, and a lot of our listeners are too. So what do you know about the scope of the Home Shopping Network?
It was infomercials, right? It was just 99% infomercials, correct?
Pretty much.
And in case you don't know what an infomercial is, good for you. That's awesome. An infomercial, back when we had TVs and you couldn't cable and you couldn't, you couldn't just choose what you wanted to watch. You just kind of had to wing it.
Yeah.
There would be these things called infomercials, which are essentially like hour to 2 hour to 5 hour long commercials.
Yeah.
Where lots of times, usually women would interview each other about certain products.
Yeah.
And they would just talk about it for a really long time. There's an infomercial that Liza Minnelli made. She was 100% high during it, and I highly recommend you look it up. You will be laughing with her, not at her. I hope that makes sense.
It's if you get anything out of this podcast, is that you Googled Liza Minnelli and Home Shopping Network.
Yes, I think you should do it. I mean, after you listen to our podcast, but like right after.
Yeah.
Please do it and just enjoy yourself. Yeah. And know that we're laughing with her, not at her.
Yeah. And probably getting high with her. So.
And probably getting high, too.
So, yeah, it was a 24/7 cable channel that just sold things. And it was like the Amazon of its time. It was the only thing out there where you could buy anything all the time.
Oh, yeah, and that's the thing. You would call a number.
You had to call a number. That's right.
And you would pay 80 payments of $14.99 to have anything you want. You just have to pay $14.99.
Yeah, everything was in installments, and shipping was always $14.99 too, or something.
Always. I don't know why the number $14.99 was so important, but they were like, however we can divide it up and put $14.99, right. then that's it.
Yeah, and it fucking worked, and believe it or not, it is still the #1 home shopping channel on cable.
It still exists?
It's still around.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so one of the products they featured was something called Fire Cap.
No. Nope. Nope. I can already tell you. Sounds bad.
It was not exactly a fire extinguisher, but rather it marketed itself as a, quote, fire and smoke suppressant.
What?
Manufactured by the now defunct Colbra Group, Colbra, which went out of business. You'll see why. Mm-hmm. Now, like we said, it was a 16-ounce aerosol can that sold for a mere $10. And the price is eye-catching, and so is the design. A bright yellow body with a red cap on top and a white label on the front that stated it was for, quote, for use on small spot fires.
So it sounds and feels and looks like a tiny fire extinguisher, but something tells me it's not.
Yeah. So, on the back of the can were little drawings that indicated to use Fire Cap when you find yourself with an out-of-control trash can fire, stove fire, a car fire, or campfire. So
those are that's a lot of different kinds and sizes of fires. I don't know where y'all have been lighting your campfires, but as a girl from Texas, those campfires are fucking big.
They're massive. And a 16-ounce can?
No, little hairspray can, it's not gonna do shit. For a car fire?
I know. But, okay. Compact. Let me just keep reading. Compact, affordable, easy to haul on a camping trip you don't know why you agreed to. These things fucking sold. And they also, you guessed it, made fires worse.
I knew it! I knew they would!
Would you like to please read from the official CPSC recall release?
Oh, nothing would make me happier. All right. Quote, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC, and various distributors are announcing the recall of more than 136,000 cans of Fire Cap, brand fire and smoke suppressant. The product does not suppress fires and could intensify fires. That was in italics, so it's important.
That's right.
CPSC is not aware of any incidents or injuries with this product. This recall is being conducted to help prevent injuries, end quote.
There you go.
So nothing bad happened.
Well, not quite.
Okay. I see. Okay.
Yes, luckily, despite over 100,000 being sold, no one was hurt, but people's experiences were so bad that they were calling the CPSC consumer tip line reporting Fire Cap. And again, for context here, it's the mid-90s. There's no Google and only landlines. The internet barely existed. In 1996, there were only 260,000 websites.
Oh my God.
So to put effort into contacting someone and to talk to them, you really had to be inspired. And a can that used air, compressed air, to put out fires was more than enough to get people going.
Oh my God.
Yeah. fire cap was completely removed from the market after a horrifying 3-year run.
Ugh.
The Culbra Group went bankrupt, and this ends happily because no one died. So please go and give your regulated fire extinguishers a kiss and get ready for number 2 in our top 3 product recalls.
Fuck yes! Give it to me.
Okay, so for this one, we have to travel further back in time.
Okay.
Let's head to 1974.
Fun.
During the Christmas season.
Cute.
Extra drugs. So
so much coke.
So much.
A white Christmas. A terrible joke. I'm so sorry.
Keep it going. So consumer protection was a new concept. At just 2 years old, toy labeling wasn't a thing. Okay.
Huh.
There was no law yet to require manufacturers to provide like age-appropriate labels or warnings that pieces of a toy may be a choking hazard or may have sharp objects, etc.
Yeah.
You know, your toy came in a box, good fucking luck.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. The CPSC was like, okay, maybe we should help parents out a bit and just remind them to be conscious of these things when shopping. So every year around Christmas time, the CPSC would run a Safety First campaign. And in 1974, they chose to advertise that year's campaign with CPSC issued lapel pins. And each little pin read, "For kids' sake, think toy safety."
Okay.
Okay. Now, 80,000 were made and shipped to 14 CPSC offices for nationwide public distribution, which thankfully never happened because, you guessed it, the pins were coated in a paint with excessive levels of lead.
Oh my God. You guys.
Not only that, a flaw in manufacturing left the pins not rounded, but with sharp edges. And to top it off, they fell apart. So,
oh my God.
making each pin a lead-filled choking hazard.
A lead-filled, sharp choking hazard. So you would cut your fingers and your insides.
That's right. Yeah, a twofer.
And then it would be poisoned.
Yeah, it's a twofer. Yeah.
It's like a fiver.
It's a fiver.
If you put it, you know.
Yeah.
It sounds bad.
It's not good.
Oh, God.
So, one of the first recalls was CPSC's own pins.
Oh.
So, that's why it's number 2. And again, the pins did not make it to the public, but the CPSC had to swallow the cost, no pun intended,
Oh, man.
for the manufacturing. So, after the break, we're at number 1. And please stick around for a batshit crazy story that involves something called buckyballs.
Oh, dear.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Stick around and buy this very safe product.
So safe.
Hello, everyone. You may recognize me as Gabby from the History of Everything podcast.
And my name is Brenna, and you don't recognize me from anything yet.
Together, we're 2 scientists who explore all of the weird little questions and conspiracies of the universe in our new podcast, Mystery of Everything. Everything has an explanation.
We hope.
But that is what we're here to figure out. We will dive into the science behind many popular conspiracy theories, such as vaccines causing autism, flat earth theory, and was the moon landing fake? And if so, why the heck would anyone even do that?
But it's not just conspiracies. There's a lot of cool mysteries that we will attempt to use science to explain, such as near-death experiences, what made the Vikings go berserk, and can I control my co-host with MK Ultra?
Wait, what? Anyway, make sure to check out the Mystery of Everything podcast everywhere where you find your podcasts.
Hello everyone, Stakuyi here.
And I'm Gabby.
And we are the hosts of History of Everything, a podcast which you can probably guess by the name is, well, it's about everything. Do you want to know why people thought potatoes were evil and would give you syphilis? Are you curious about all the stories of the terrible and stupid ways that people have kicked the bucket over the years? Do you want to hear tales about all of the different badasses of history and the lives that they had brought to life? Well, if so, then look no further. History of Everything is just the right podcast for you. It's available on Spotify, Pandora, and anywhere else that you get your podcast from. Join us for some fun and just see how weird and wacky history can be.
Hey everyone, Jill Chacha here from Well, That's Interesting, and I am absolutely thrilled to tell you about Spotify for podcasters. I use it, I love it, and it all started by downloading the free Spotify for Podcasters app, which has all the tools you need in one place to record and edit your masterpiece of a podcast. Spotify for Podcasters also distributes your show to all major platforms. So when you hit publish, your episodes will stream not only on Spotify, but I'm talking about the Apples, the Googles, Stitcher, Good Pods, the other ones. You get the idea. And you can monetize your podcast with no minimum listenership required. You could also set up monthly subscriptions and record ads just like this one. So what are you waiting for? Download Spotify for Podcasters today and start changing the world. Oh, and please, stay interesting. And we're back.
We are so back.
We're so back. We survived. We made it to our number 1 bonkers fucking product recall.
I gotta know. What is it?
And, well, it's a journey. So,
Okay, I see.
So
I understand.
let's start at the beginning and let's head over to Brooklyn, New York. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In a more innocent time of 2009.
Oh, it is an innocent time. Oh, you weren't kidding. Oh, early Obama administration.
I know.
Brooklyn, relaxed, but not really.
Their 2 friends, Craig Zucker and Jake Bronstein, had an idea. After watching a YouTube video about rare earth magnets, they found some excess inventory of the magnets online, bought them, repackaged them, and marketed them under the name Buckyballs. Now,
Okay.
so I'm sure you have questions. We really have to break this down.
All right.
But before we get into them, can you please first describe these Buckyballs?
Yes, of course.
All right. This is your first time seeing them.
Oh, have I seen these before? I think I have seen these before.
Yes, probably.
So it's a bunch of these tiny, round, silver-looking balls, and they're magnets.
Yes.
So you can stick them together and make little shapes. And it looks like you get, I don't know, 30, 40, 100. I can't count. But you get a bunch of them in a little box.
Yeah.
And then you pull them out and then you can string them together.
Exactly.
I think have I had these before? I've played with these before.
They were very popular. We'll get into it, yeah.
Okay.
And they kind of come in not too many variety of sizes. There's like an average size, and what would you say that one is about the size of?
So there's a normal size, like a marble size, it looks like, and then a small, more pellet-like size, like a pebble.
There you go.
But perfectly round.
There you go. So if you saw this on a shelf in 2009 Barnes & Noble, like you really wouldn't think anything of it, right? Just some fucking magnets.
Exactly.
So let's take a look inside, shall we? So inside those balls is a rare earth element. And what the fuck is that?
Yeah, what is it?
So just in the way iron can be magnetized to become a permanent magnet, the rare elements neodymium and samarium cobalt can undergo the same process, but their magnetic pull is significantly stronger than any other type of permanent magnets made.
Okay.
So like your average store-bought magnet has a magnetic field with like a strength somewhere between 0.5 to 1 Tesla. And
Okay.
Tesla is just the unit of measure here.
And this is like a refrigerator magnet.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And the magnetic field typically produced by rare earth magnets can exceed 1.4 Teslas. So
Got it. So anywhere from twice to 3 times as much as your regular run-of-the-mill
magnet.
magnet.
Exactly.
Okay.
So magnetized neodymium and samarium cobalt are super strong, like you said, but they're also super brittle. So to protect the elements, they're usually plated and encased to prevent any breaking, and thus we have little metal balls. So they're inside there.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So back to the unfortunately named Mr. Zucker.
Yes, that's a bummer.
So who had a history of trying to repackage things and sell them off for a profit. Would you kindly read briefly from this New York Times article, "For Buckyball Toys, child safety is a growing issue."
Yes, of course. I will read this quote. Mr. Zucker was an entrepreneur who started, among other things, a bottled water business that sold New York City tap water. End quote.
Yeah.
What dick. What a dick.
Yeah, we're going to be saying that
It's
a
a
lot.
dick move. You know, that's
That's so
stupid.
Needless to say, that didn't work, but but Zucker still believed in the American dream of a get-rich-quick scheme, so he and his friend packed every order that came in and walked each order over to the local post office themselves until demand was just too damn high. Again, they started in 2009, and by 2012, annual sales reached $25 million.
Oh my God.
These stupid fucking balls were a hit. 2.5 million sets of Buckyballs sold within those 3 years. So for like $35, you got 216 marble-sized magnets. And you also got an unintended choking hazard really never before seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big choking hazard.
Yeah. So Buckyballs were marketed to adults.
Yeah.
And there is a warning on the package that says not for children, but, quote, the labeling, the warnings, the packaging does not work. Scott Wolfson, the spokesman for the CPSC, said of the products, you have young children who come into a room and get their hands on a loose magnet or two, end quote.
Yeah.
And that's from the same New York Times article. Now, we just did an in-betweenie about doctors swallowing round, smallish Legos. And
exactly, yeah.
Nothing happened to them.
No.
They pooped them right out.
Yeah, no problem. Couple of days.
Nice and came right out.
NVD.
So there is a big difference between that Lego and these objects.
Of course.
The marbles are magnets, and strong magnets. And if you swallowed more than one, you have a fucking problem on your hands. Or rather, should I say, in your gut.
That's right, because they're going to try, no matter how far away they are, to connect.
There you go. Can you please read from our delightful New York Times source?
Of course.
There you go.
All right, quote, swallowing 2 or more rare earth magnets is particularly dangerous because they attract each other in the intestines and can cause blockages, tissue damage, and even perforation. Betty Lopez, whose 12-year-old daughter, swallowed 4 Buckyballs in March while pretending to have a pierced tongue, required 2 operations, and missed a month of school. Quote within the quote, they were kind of 3 portions of, there were kind of 3 portions of the bowel that were stuck together by Buckyballs, said Miss Lopez. Knowing what my daughter went through, I don't feel that Buckyballs serve any true purpose, end quote.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys.
So between 2009 and 2012, there were about 1,700 incidents of rare earth magnets being swallowed and requiring emergency care.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but not all of the incidents were connected to Buckyballs. Other entrepreneurs got on the rare earth magnet wagon.
No.
Adding to the number of balls out there. And it became an industry that was simply hurting kids. And the CPSC was like, we got to do something about this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably why you recognize them, because this was just like a craze that hit. Yeah.
And there were probably all kinds, there were like knockoffs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
where are we? So the administration sent out a recall asking third-party sellers like Barnes & Noble to voluntarily remove these magnets from their shelves and asked the manufacturers to halt their sales. They also told the public, if you want a full refund, to contact the company where you made your purchase. Now, of the 13 businesses that sold these magnets, all complied except 2.
of course.
Yeah, a company in China and our friend Zucker.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Zucker?
So how did Mr. Zucker counter the CPSC's recall? With grace and dignity? Fuck no. Would you like to read the path he took?
Of course. All right, quote, Mr. Zucker has started an aggressive public campaign to win support for Buckyballs, using the cheeky slogan, Save Our Balls. His company has taken out newspaper ads in Washington, directed at President Obama and lawmakers, and stoked a campaign on social media websites like Facebook and Twitter. When an adult, a 28-year-old, can't buy this for their desk, Then this agency has run amok, said Mr. Zucker. This is government gone absurd. End quote. What the fuck?
I know.
Dude.
Yeah, he blamed Obama.
Dude, you can't fucking blame Obama
Save
for
our balls.
your fucking balls.
So,
Jeez.
needless to say, a very ugly 2-year legal battle ensued. Now, Zucker was lucky the first time around, but the courts put an end to his streak. Buckyballs were removed completely from the market, and
Good.
refunds, damn right, refunds, if requested, were to be paid in full by Craig Zucker himself.
Amazing. I love that.
Quote, after nearly 2 years of fighting, it's good to finally have this case behind me, Mr. Zucker said in May 2014 after the settlement was reached. It's unfortunate that it took 2 years to get to this point, said Scott Wolfson, the spokesman for CPSC. This has been a very serious issue, and it's been an issue with serious consequences, end quote. And that was from the New York Times article. After a 2-year fight, consumer agency orders recall of Buckyballs.
Oh my God.
So yes, my friends, that is our first place winner. And I think he earned it.
I think he earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a dick. There's a joke to be made about dick and balls. I'm just too tired and gay.
We'll put that on a tote. That'll be safe.
There you go.
Non-toxic gay tote.
Non-toxic gay tote, for
Yeah.
sure.
For all you queers out there and more. Hope you enjoyed the show. Please rate, subscribe, tell your friends.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Email us your interesting things.
Yeah. Well, That's Interesting Pod is our Instagram handle.
And wellthatsinterestingpod@gmail.com.
That's right.
Is
For
our
all your,
email.
because we want to hear your interesting shit.
Yeah.
And it could be anything. Anything. Trust me. This world is interesting.
It's fascinating. Do you have Bucky balls? Have you eaten any? Are you okay?
Write in. Let us know. Take pictures if you have any.
Yeah,
Yeah. And stay interesting.
please do.